You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss DeMar DeRozan's belief still in P. Will. He's still saying that P. Will could be the next Kawhi. We're going to talk about that, underpaid players on the Chicago Bulls this season, and Jevon Carter lands on a list of underrated players heading into the next season. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOnToday to get started. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host, creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. But Pat, let's get into it for today. DeMar DeRozan still believes highly in Patrick Williams. In an interview with the Chicago Sun-Times, saying that he still sees Kawhi Leonard in Patrick Williams, saying that they have similar makeup and body styles. But to the end part of this, the quote here, he says this: "You can't just water it one day and the next expect it to grow. You have to keep putting sunshine on it, tending to it, caring about it. Other plants will grow faster than others, but you got to stick with it." That's all it is with him. What do you think about that quote when it comes to Patrick Williams from DeMar DeRozan?
I don't think he's wrong. I don't know if I think he's Kawhi, right? Like, I don't know if I go that far. I guess, like he said, body style, right? Maybe he can get to that point if he keeps going there. I don't think he's Kawhi Leonard. I just don't. But even when I called him a bust, everybody was like, "Oh my God, that means you can't give up on a 20-year-old kid. How could you want to get rid of him? How could you?" And nobody says any of that. Like, just because somebody hasn't lived up to what their expectation is to this point doesn't mean that they can't achieve that. We see that happen in the NBA almost every season at this point, where there's some guy that we're literally just like, "Man, he's all right, but like, I wouldn't bet the farm on him." And then by the end of that season, we was like, "I probably should have bet the farm on that guy." Yeah. I hope that P. Will does turn into that. Me and you both talked about how the ability of this young man and the talent that he actually has, it speaks to, you have to continue to invest in him. But man, investing in mindset is tough. Investing in the thought process that someday he's just going to say, "Oh, I can kill you on the other side of me." That's a very unlikely thing. I rarely think we've seen that. I think the only time maybe we have seen it is Kawhi, really.
Kawhi, I would also say,
where somebody was kind of like, "I'm the third, fourth wheel," and now all of a sudden, like, "Hey, I'm gonna just go out there and y'all not gonna be able to stop me."
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't even know if that's necessarily. I don't think he necessarily needs that. Patrick Williams just needs to be confident in what he does. Like, I don't know if he's ever, to your point, I don't know if he's ever going to have this mindset where I'm the guy, you can't stop me, but just be confident in the dang things you do well. Like, that's all we need you to do.
I think that's what happened with Kawhi. That's what took him to that next step. You know what I mean? Like, even Paul George talks about it. He's like, "Kawhi, no, nobody can stop him."
Except himself now, because Kawhi can't get on
Kawhi's knees have stopped him. Back, ankles, hands.
Yeah. God said.
I did. Nobody can stop Kawhi. God did. That's wild. That's wild. We starting off early tonight, my boy.
I mean, Jesus. Listen, facts are facts, bro, because that's exactly what happened. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. That's what happened.
God swung on his knees like Tim Anderson.
Bro, the Tim Anderson thing is never not going to be funny, man. Like, because that man squared up and he put his arms up, and I'm like, "Oh, Tim Anderson about to give him that." Oh, he's down. He's down.
Two good ones too. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, that's a life lesson, right? It don't matter how good it is that something you do. people are gonna focus on the negative. He threw 2 good punches in there. He cleaned Jose with 2 of them.
He did,
but he ain't knocked that man out because Jose hit him with that. He hit him with that bad chick in a fight. Right? Yeah, I mean, like he hit him with the drive-by.
He hit him with the punch with people who don't actually know how to fight, so they just rapid fire punches off and just hope a couple are gonna land. He just got lucky and one landed on Tim Anderson and put that man down. Like,
Jose Ramirez definitely fight like he watch anime.
No, he watched a lot of Bad Girls Club. That's what Tim Anderson. I mean,
he
that's
threw a
what
drink in his face anyway.
All he was missing was a cup of water in somebody's face, bro.
Jesus, Tim. I mean, it's still relevant. It's a Jerry Reinsdorf owned team. There has to be some level of embarrassment, bro.
This is why Jerry Reinsdorf is never hiring us, bro. It's not happening.
Oh, that's okay.
But as far as back on the P-Will side of it, like, you know me, I'm not as harsh on it as you. I think it's too early to call P-Will a bust, but I do think that somebody needs to unlock. Like I said, Patrick Williams acts and carries himself like somebody who was raised by their grandparents. It's just like he gotta get it together, bro. He gotta get it.
Killers that was raised by their grandparents.
See that? Wait, how old were the I mean, the modern day when the grandmama's really 38 years old.
Never mind.
That's what I mean.
Well, no, I know some killers because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't who am I thinking of? There's a player in the league now. His grandmama got into it with somebody at the game, and she was like 50.
Well, that's what I mean, though. Like.
But like they was a hooper though, like
there was a hooper. I mean, listen, everybody built a little bit differently.
Maybe ISO Joe. Maybe
was it ISO Joe?
I don't think so. I feel
ISO
like
Joe grandmama was at a game.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. It was somebody that I was like, hey, he a dog, and I was like, wait, that's your grandmama, dog? Like,
listen,
when you hit this face, like.
My grandmama in her 80s and she would still put somebody down if needed, bro. Like if that Tim Anderson thing went down, my grandma would have been out on the field like, baby, if you don't get up.
Hey, that's the thing. Tim Anderson struggling with it because it's like you gotta have my grandmama would have been like, if you don't get up, I'ma whoop you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna whoop them because I can't have them embarrassing family, but now I'm about to whoop you. I'm about to whoop you.
Anderson name is on the line, right? Nobody in the stands could have been, get up, Rock. Get up. They just went straight to throw in the towel. I knew it was bad when he got carried off like Tony Bradley, man. That's when I knew.
Bro, that's funny. Out here, that's funny, man.
But no, I just think that with P. Will, right, like to me, honestly, he's got all of what anybody wants in a basketball player. You just have to find a way for his mindset to say that the person in front of me, and you know what? It's like you said, though, to me, it's confidence. And like, I don't think he's confident in that little push float. I don't think he's confident in the stop and pop mid-range, the 2-dribble pull-up. I think we saw him get confident in one thing last season. That was that pull-up 3. Guess what? They're going to adjust to that. They're going to close out on that. You need to be confident in all those other things coming into this season.
And the thing is, too, is that if they start closing out on Patrick Williams 3, we've seen it. Lateral quickness, not so much, but he has enough quickness and I think a solid enough dribble to where then you take people off the dribble. But I just don't know if he has the confidence to do that at the NBA level. That's why all these videos all throughout the summer of seeing Patrick Williams work out and all this, it's great. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing it, but I got fooled by that before. If it's not happening at the NBA level, I don't care anymore. And again, that's not to say I'm not out on P. Will as a player at all yet, but I'm at the end of the day, we know the potential that you have. We follow this team each and every day. I've seen every single clip, every minute of Patrick Williams' career. I've seen it. Yes, he has that potential in him, but until it comes out consistently, this is what it is, man.
Yeah, 100%. And for me now, right, like, I don't know, man. You spent 2 off seasons with DeMar. And we haven't, now granted, the one season we haven't seen it unlocked. I guess we'll see, right? But to me, if it don't come this season, like, he is what he is. Doesn't mean he can't be good. Doesn't mean he can't be a good role player. Doesn't mean he can't become a better player, right? Don't even mean he can't be a 17-point per game type of guy, 17 and 8, right? But that's not what you want at the 4th overall pick. You want your Tyrese Halliburtons. You want your Tyrese Maxeys. You want
that, but 4th overall picks typically don't turn out that great. I mean, it's just historically so.
Yeah,
we want that. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the Bulls are the only one whose 4th overall pick ain't gonna turn into the star level player that many of the fan base ask.
No, but it does suck when you can just go, hey, the 4th overall pick isn't that good right now, but man, 11 looks great.
Oh, for sure.
You know
Like,
what I mean?
and I talked about it over on Central. It's like the biggest thing that I think leads to a lot of frustration with AK's draft from Bulls fans is that we still got every draft pick that he's drafted so far. It's just a bunch of question marks. We got the answer on Marco. The answer was he went back overseas. Other than that, it's a bunch of question marks.
We got the answer on Marco. The answer was not applicable. This was not applicable to the NBA game.
The NBA game. Next up, though, we're going to be talking about underpaid Chicago Bulls heading into next season. A list from Pippen ain't easy. But before we get into that, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is FanDuel. Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long. Because right now, when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get bonus bets for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. But okay, Pat, let's get into it. So, shout out to Pippen Ain't Easy, who listed 3 Chicago Bulls players that are underpaid going into next season. And we're going to start off with the first person on their list, and that is Andre Drummond. You see Andre Drummond's contract, $3.3 million. We know what he can be. He wasn't really given the opportunity to be that double-double guy that we know that he can be if you give him 16 to 18 minutes. But when you see the value of the contract, do you agree that Andre Drummond is indeed underpaid?
No, because I don't think that what he does right now, the NBA values. I think that Andre Drummond is the market value. Realistically, he's the best of what you can get as a backup big in the NBA.
And that's I don't think that by nature of saying underpaid, they're talking about per what the NBA. Because yeah, I mean the NBA does not value to a degree centers that can't stretch the floor a little bit anymore. Yeah. But I think that when you look at the impact that he can have, I think that could be that's where you see him as undervalued.
Well, I think I like what Drummond brings, but realistically, right, it doesn't go with the modern NBA. And so I think he's paid like many guys are of his stature. Now, do I think he's better than some guys who are backup bigs in the NBA? Yeah, for sure, 100%. But, you know, we've seen Andre Drummond. There's the ups and downs with that, right? Where I can have a Mo Wagner come in and, yeah, he can stretch the floor a little bit, but, you know, for the most part, he goes out there, he's big, he grabs rebounds, he's able to push the ball up the court. The main thing about some guys like that is it's just like, are you adding to foul trouble? Are you making things worse? Andre Drummond added to foul trouble. He gonna get 17 rebounds in that game, but he gonna have 4 fouls in the first minute of it. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where you kind of just have to live with how the NBA is calling things for Drummond. Now, I think that as we're going back to a more physical game, Andre Drummond's value might continue to increase, because I do think that him not being able to play physical anymore has taken away from his game. The NBA he came into, he could move people out his way. You really get penalized for that now.
I mean, I think you're taking the undervalued part and kind of missing some things in there. I mean, we could talk about his game being modern or not, but like he led the league in rebounding percentage, playing 12.7 minutes per game. Like if you can lead the league in anything and you're getting that much, less than a fourth of the mid-level exception, you're underpaid at that point in time. It's a me.
I mean, but for 12-minute production, you getting $3 million. It's not bad. I'm putting you in 12 minutes of a game and you getting $3 million off of it. And I think Andre Drummond could play more. I just don't think that like he's not going to be a starter anywhere else. And
his time starting is absolutely done.
I think if the opportunity now, I also think Andre Drummond you also have to add context to this, right? Andre Drummond's underpaid here, and he took probably a team-friendly deal because mental things. He was very happy with how the Bulls dealt with him. There was a lot that he talked about going into him staying here in Chicago on the mental side of it and what he went through, where he said he had a lot of anxieties and different things like that pop up at mid-game pretty much. But I don't think that Andre Drummond how many teams in the NBA would pay him more?
And $3.3 million.
I don't think there's many teams out there that right now are sitting here saying we'll give you $7 million. The Lakers, maybe. Like the Lakers probably would have gave them all they got just because. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's the team where they're just like, we'll take anybody. Do you play basketball and still bleed? Bet we got you.
So I just looked around real quick just to kind of gauge and see some numbers around. So Dwight Powell right now, $4.5 million per year.
Dwight Powell's a starter. He might not start this year, but Dwight Powell's a starter.
I understand that. But is Andre Drummond not a better player than Dwight Powell at times for what he brings? You can say that he's a starter all day. He's a starter out of necessity on the team that he is. But I say that Andre Drummond could definitely impact the game as much.
No, for sure. I'm not saying that there's a lack of production with what Drum does. I just think that's like even a name like that. Like that's kind of where they're lumping everybody into. That if you can't stretch the floor, it don't matter how good you are at one thing. You're just in that category now. Like Dwight Powell is what? 5-6 rebounds a game?
I don't know. I don't have his numbers up.
Whatever, you know what I mean? Like it
JaVale McGee, $5.7 million per year.
He's better than JaVale. Where's JaVale at now, though? JaVale might have a bounce back. They got JaVale in Dallas, and they was just like, hey, man, we got this spot for you on the end of this bench.
That's where he still is, by the way. He's still there.
Dang it, JaVale. You should have got out, brother.
Jock Landale.
Oh, that's gross.
$8 million a year.
That's gross. I guess with some of those names, yeah. Hey, listen,
I'm just saying you gotta put that in perspective a little bit there, bro. But all right, let's move on. I know we can't spend too much time on this drum. We got two more other names we need to get to. DeMar DeRozan was next up on this list.
Of course.
At $28 million per year, saying that he's underpaid per. Well, I mean, when you look at his averages, he's led the league in clutch points the last 2 years in a row. Is DeMar DeRozan underpaid?
28.5. That's how.
The one thing that the hang up that I got
on that though. That's how you got to start breaking all of this down.
That is
because you can't go based on the number no more because the numbers are so ridiculous that it don't even make sense. What's the cap now? It's freaking 160. He's
getting paid, I think, 20% of the cap. I think that's the way that it works out, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that percentage.
Is that underpaid?
The way that I look at it is this with DeMar. He's hugely value to the Chicago Bulls, and I don't want to undercut that at all. But I do think that, to me, when I hear the Bulls still overpaid for him, so it's like nobody else was offering the money that the Chicago Bulls offered at all. But then at the same time, I try to take that away and look at just what he brings to this team, and what he's bring has been so needed. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's adequate at this point. Like,
I feel like that's aptly paid. Like, I don't think that, and I'm sitting here trying to do the math on the fly, of 136 million he gets. He's making 28. What is that? That might be less than 20%. Is that 15%? I can't do math that fast.
I'm not here to do math. I'm here to talk. That's what I'm here to do. Like, let's be clear.
Not here to do math.
I'm not here to do math.
Hey, somebody need to design a doggone salary cap calculator so you can just input it in and shoots a percentage out at you.
I like that you bring that up, because literally that's how we're gonna have to start talking about contracts now. Because when you hear like the $40 million, we need to start having the conversation based off what percentage of the cap it is, because people hear these $20 and $100 million contracts and it's like, hey man, that's a mid-level exception now, bro. Like, that's what it's going to be soon.
I was chopping it up with Kid, and I said Patrick Williams is going to get whatever his next contract is.
DeMar DeRozan, they actually do have it on Spot Rack. It is. He makes 21% of the cap.
I think that's good value. That's good value.
Okay.
No, that's what I was saying. I was telling Kid, I said, this is the thing. They're probably going to re-sign Pat Will to like a 5-year contract, $20 million a year. Like, that's a lot of freaking money.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not.
It's not. That's $21 million a year is literally like 19% of the cap. It's like, there you go.
Like, I'm with DeMar. I think he's aptly paid right now. I mean, I wouldn't pay him more.
I mean, the Bull, if they're gonna keep him, they're definitely about to pay more
But
than
I
that.
guess, right, like you think about a guy like Jimmy Butler. Is DeMar on the same level as Jimmy Butler? I think Jimmy's winning mentality gets him there, but like,
I mean, the
skill-wise?
mentality definitely is different.
Yeah.
I think that, the numbers, scoring wise, DeMar is a much more fluid scorer. He's going to be more consistent scorer his whole entire career.
Yeah.
But the leadership qualities that Jimmy Butler brings and how he kind of ups that whole standard on teams, if you have teams with the right mentality, that's immeasurable in my opinion.
That's true. That's true.
Last player on this list, and the one they feel is the most underpaid, is Alex Caruso at $9.4 million per year, 6.9% of the salary cap, since that's how we're going to start talking about this.
I feel like Caruso is underpaid and underappreciated because
especially by Bulls fans.
The only time that Bulls fans really talk about Alex Caruso as a good player is when all of a sudden you go through every single defensive metric at the end of the season and his name is in the top 1 or 2 of it. Alex Caruso legitimately might be the best defender in the NBA, and nobody talks about that.
He could be defensive player of the year if the Bulls only won more. I'll tell you what, if the Bulls, God forbid, get to a 50-win season, Alex Caruso is going to be in conversation for defensive player of the year.
And he has to
God
forbid, let him get there. Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, he also has to be on the court too, because what is it now? You got to play at least 65 games? Or is it 60?
How many games Caruso played last year, though? Was he out a ton? He might have missed 65. But I don't know. I'm with you on that. Like, if anybody's underpaid, because here's the thing. Think about this. How much does Rudy Gobert make? And he's defense. How much does Jaren Jackson make? And I mean, he's a little bit more.
I was about to say Jaren Jackson has more offensive ability.
He's got more offensive upside, but you look at him as the defensive player of the year guy. He's the defense. How much did what's that boy name that just got paid down in Houston? Not Van Vliet, the other one.
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks make, to go out there and be spunky and be defense and be like, you think about that. Yeah, Alex Caruso is absolutely underpaid. What we get him for? A 3-year deal at like $36 million?
Yeah, it was
that's crazy, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, and it's tough to say. The next one that comes up, and again, you got to look at it in the percentages, not in the middle. God, what's he doing on the screen? Get out of here.
He brought up his money. He had to show up the real Dylan Brooks, please stand up. Bro, what is that haircut,
money
bro?
To keep his
he literally said, "Hey, listen, I got this pencil at the end of the school year, the eraser. It's a little. That's what I want my haircut to be. Just give me that.
Just on the left side."
It's on the left side.
But
slope to the left like
Caruso's underpaid, undervalued, underappreciated, under everything that he could be under, I guess, except Mariah Mills.
Okay, last topic of the day, Patrick. We want to make you
and porn star.
We want to remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available in every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. But last topic of the day, Pat. Wow, man. NBA.com had a list of 5 players.
He's more like an Alexis Texas guy.
Wow. Alexis Texas, that's a deep cut, bro. I ain't heard that name in forever. Sky Black, anyone? Anyway. The NBA.com had a list of 5 underrated moves from this offseason. Number 1, Seth Curry with Dallas. Actually, kind of agree with that. Obi Toppin traded to the Indiana Pacers. And then Jevon Carter signing with the Chicago Bulls was listed as the 3rd most underrated moves of this offseason. Me and you guys, we've been telling people how important Jevon Carter is going to be for the Chicago Bulls team. I know a lot of people just look at the stats. They don't understand the impact and how to break things down. When you hear that Jevon Carter, 3rd most underrated move of this offseason, how does that make you feel?
I mean, yeah, like here's the thing. It's not sexy at all. It's not a great name. It's not even an oh my goodness move. You went and got the Milwaukee Bucks backup point guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably coming in here to be your starting point guard unless Kobe White wins out the job outright. Like he just takes this crazy leap, which by the way, did y'all see Kobe White getting clamped up by old boy out here, man? Like, come on, Kobe. I need more moves from dribble too much. I'm hoping he's just an NBA talent that's coming in to be the next Alex
Kobe
Caruso.
may just not cared. But it's not a good look, bro. It's
Hey,
not a
listen,
good look.
you got to the bucket. Now, granted, right, here's the thing. It's a highlight package. So they were showing the best plays of my man's. I'm like, did Kobe drop him off like 7 times and we just didn't show none of that?
Exactly. That's another thing too. Yeah.
But no, man, like but it's solid. Like, even if he's your bench point guard, he's a solid bench point guard that can run a bench unit that needs that.
He was the 12th best 3-point shooter in the league last season, bro. What did the Bulls need? What were we ranked last in again? Come on, Pat, tell me.
3-point shooting.
Well, how many 3-pointers made did the Bulls average last season? Do you happen to know that, Pat?
I mean, listen, I'm gonna say let's go 8.
10.4.
Oh, I was close. That's sad. I was
10.4.
close.
So you like when you go out and you get somebody that's at a position of need that is elite. Let's be clear here. Jevon Carter is an elite 3-point shooter. And for anyone who's going to say, what about he played with Giannis? Same 3-point shooting percentage without playing with without Giannis on the court. Guess what? Over his career, he's been a 42% 3-point shooter. You know what that means? That man is a legit 3-point shooter. Yep. That's what the Bulls needed. That's what we brought in at the point guard position, which is a position we needed to fill.
Now he's one of those guys that can't shoot nothing else.
I mean, yeah. Like he's not going to be taking anybody off the dribble and dumping off anybody at the rim. He's not going to be doing that. Now, let's be realistic in that. But yeah,
no, 100%. And I think here's the thing, right? When you look at what the Bulls are good, how the Bulls lost so many of these games. Now you're coming to a team, to me, where Jevon Carter is going to get the opportunity to have that Lonzo Ball moment of I'm just open because everybody's down low, because you got Vooch down low, you got DeMar in the middle. Yeah, Zach's going to be fanned out. P. Will's probably going to be fanned out, but I think there's just going to, like, my focus isn't on Jevon Carter.
Yeah.
You also went out and got a guy who, when he finally got his opportunity in the NBA, was a very durable player. He was somebody who was able to play 81 of 82 games last season, started 39 of them, 22 minutes a game. Like, it's not like you went out. The one thing that a lot of Bulls fans are looking at this move, or a lot of fans in general are looking at this move as, is you went out and got the guy that's just, like the other guy. But no, he was called upon. He was asked to do some things for this Bucks team, and they won while he was in there. Now, I don't think that he's going to sit there and give us that OKC performance night in and night out. That'd be interesting, though, wouldn't it? Though, like, hold on,
would be.
No, I'm not going to go that far. But great value version. Is there any chance that he has a Jalen Brunson surprise season? Not to 20,
not to that level.
25 points a game, but say, right, like, all of a sudden you're the number one guy. He's 8 points a game on 22 minutes. Now he's gonna be getting 30 to 36 minutes a game probably if he's the starter.
He's not gonna play that much.
You don't think so?
No, I doubt he's gonna play that much. I think
PG?
Yeah, because no,
he's in a lot.
You're still gonna get Kobe White in there a lot. You're still gonna get like you said, Caruso in there a lot. Him and Kobe White in there. I don't see him playing that many minutes. As far as, like, not over 30. He's probably gonna get you about 26 to 28 minutes a game.
Even that, I mean, heck, you talk about 8 points in 22 minutes. He's getting 28 minutes. Now you're talking about him being able to go from 8 to 12. That's what you needed. Lonzo wasn't averaging crazy numbers either. He was just averaging crazy 3-point percentages. If you can knock down 4 3-pointers a game, if you can knock down 4 3-pointers a game, golden.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to. So, is there any concern though about, because for his career, Jevon Carter's only averaged 16.2 minutes per game. Is there any concern that 3-point shooting, which has been consistently 40% over his career, is there any concern that there may be some fall off there with him going between the 25, 28 minutes per game?
No, because we saw him go from basically 2 3-point attempts a game, knocking down one of them, to going to 4.5 3-pointers a game and knocking down 2 of them.
Yeah.
So the more he takes, like, as long as you're still creating good looks for him, he's going to be able to knock down shots. And I think that's, as bad as we can say at times Billy Donovan has been coaching this team and coming with a philosophy and all of that, the Bulls' problem hasn't been creating open looks. It's just been knocking them down.
That
and
is a
taking
great point that I think people forget as well, because we create a lot of open threes by the nature of the
Pat
that,
Bev
like,
was getting open looks all the time.
yeah.
Now, granted, he can't shoot that well, but like Zach LaVine was getting open looks. Patrick Williams gets open looks all the time. Like the Bulls do a great job creating the open looks. It's just about having the players that are going to knock that shot down. I think Jevon Carter is that. No, by the way, we ain't even talked about this at all. He's a dog on defense. Like in a lot of those defensive metrics that you look at per 36, he's right there with Alex Caruso.
Yep. Oh, by the way, anybody who doesn't know, they are bringing back the Barclays for a limited run here at the end of this month. So, just gonna throw that back out there.
I appreciate the plug on that because I don't know how we got there, but that was a great plug.
Oh, my alert just went off.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
I was just like,
hey, I don't know how we got there. I can't do it, bro. Like, I want to be a shoe head, but my God, like what people be going through to be shoe heads, it's just like I ain't gonna lie. They said the Crazy Eights they're trying to bring the Crazy Eights back with Adidas because I think Shaq just got involved with them or something like that, and so he wants to bring them back. And I was like, all right, I'll like sit there and be on like the little shoe app thing, trying to get the shoe versus all the bots for that.
Listen, this is the thing. This is why I am the hit parent, because my son's friend, first of all, son works at Lids, and then my son's best friend works at Finish Line, and this is why I'm the cool pop, because I just be like, hey, Aaron, like I got you, Unc. I'm like, that's all I need to know.
Well, just get an extra in a size 12.5, and I'll shoot you the bread on that. Did we just do a business transaction on the pod? Don't worry about it.
The fact that we basically wear the same size shoe and you're easily 3 inches taller than me is crazy.
It is wild, dog. Like, hey, that's the worst thing in the world, ain't it, bro? I swear. My dad wears a 13. My dad's 6'7". I thought I was going to the league, bro. I'm on a 5'3.5", bro. I'm like, man, I ain't.
It evened out on you, bro.
Evened out on me, bro. Now I just got these large feet for no. Well, I mean,
All right,
man, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. I keep them happy.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, CEOHAIZE. Oh man, I don't even know what to say anymore. Thank you for tuning in to Make It Locked On Bulls your first listen every single day. Me and Pat will be back tomorrow, man, breaking down more Bulls news and topics. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. It's been Locked On Bulls, man. We out, y'all. Peace.
Can I change my name to LL Pat the D?
Oh man,
We're getting canceled one of these days.